Cause it's time to move on now. It's time for murder blues.
Hey everybody, welcome. God damn it, Josh. Oh, by the way,
Every time, man. It's going to happen every time.
I'm Rod, and Josh is Josh, and we're Murder Moose, part of the Slash and Cast podcast network.
I'm
Also,
Josh. Am I?
Thank you for all the "I'm a clown dick" memes that you started last week, and now like I've been called clown dick approximately 1,000 times since then in chat and everything else, and it's all your fault, Josh. It's all your fault.
I knew it was going to catch on, man. It's just too good. It was too good.
Within like an hour of putting that podcast episode out, there was a meme that was tagged in of a spotted dildo, and I'm like, damn it, Josh.
I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing, man.
I'm glad that your marketing is so fine, like that I'm now clown dick in places. Clown dick the Destroyer. I'm not even Clown Dick the Destroyer. If I was Clown Dick the Destroyer, everything would be better off.
I don't know. I feel like because I'm doing all these movie posters, I'm really in tune with like advertising just in general for movies and stuff. So I feel like it's flowing, especially like this poster I did today. I didn't even believe that I was going to be doing a poster, and then it just went and then it happened anyways. And yesterday, because you and I are super stoked to see the Black Phone, it had to happen. So that's already made. I'm being preemptive and coming up with these things because, I want to. And it's fun. So don't stop me, Rod. Don't stop me.
You're not my supervisor. You're not my supervisor. I don't want to stop. And how did you turn you calling me clown dick into you talking about your posters and everything and stopping you?
It's advertising, Rod. It's advertising for the podcast. People like when you advertise in unique ways. Clown dick is just a unique way to attach your name to the podcast in a way that stands the test of time. And it's all out of love anyways.
But
just let it be. Let it be, Rod.
You could let it be. Let it be.
Okay, clown dick.
See, you're just taking the clown dick fire and you're just like spraying gasoline out of that clown dick flower that we talked about last week.
I would not be surprised if we missed at least 16 actual clown dicks in this movie because there's so much going on. But we'll get there. We will talk about this movie. It is crazy.
We have to put it off for a little bit because holy fuck. I don't know how long I could say what the fuck and just sit here and go talk about something for another 10 seconds, and then after I talk about it for 10 seconds just say I don't understand what happened. I told you, I think before you even saw the movie, that this movie may be the movie that breaks Murder Moose, because literally if you have ADHD in the level that Josh and I do, it's a lot, man. It's like it breaks it. But we're not gonna get to it yet. I was almost gonna go in. No. We have to delay that a little bit.
Because I'm so ADD, honestly, because it's also a visual medium, the poster just kind of like it was a thing that it just happened, and I feel like that's what this I'm going into the movie already. Never mind. Rod, how's your week? Because my week sucks, but you know what? Look at how happy I am. I'm happy regardless of a shitty week and a shitty like situations in life and stuff. I live very weirdly with like intention, and my intention is to be happy regardless, and it's fucking working. Like that's literally my intention. I wake up and go, I'm gonna have a good day intentionally, and it fucking happens. Fucking weird.
Josh is about 3 steps away from becoming a professional motivational speaker. Josh is like,
If that's what
"You,
happens,
I believe in you, and I believe in what you can be. Not today, not tomorrow, but yesterday." And you say something like insane,
no,
but
you
like
live
it's
for
gonna
today,
inspire
man.
people.
You don't live for yesterday. Fuck
I know,
yesterday.
but
Right in the ass with a fucking clown dick. All right.
um, I have to tell you, I dove into something this weekend that you've been talking about. I binged the entire first season of Barry on Sunday, and
Yes. It's so
I
good. You finally know the fucking hilarious characters that live in that show.
it's like Dexter, but like where Dexter feels like Dexter is a completely unrealistic character on every level. uh, Barry feels like a dude that could exist and like be a thing and be a real person and probably
Wait till you
someone.
get to season 3 because it gets so much like season 3 is nuts. Like it's so
Yeah,
well done and it's a lot darker this season.
yeah,
And it's just holy shit. It just finished last week. And I'm just
yeah.
like, oh, I want more. Why does it have to only be 8 episodes a season? It's not enough.
And they're all like only 30 minutes long, so it's like basically a 4-hour movie, right? Is a season,
And
and
it's oh, it's
it's
such good
it,
TV, man. Such good TV.
it's pretty good. Like the acting's really good. I mean, you have Henry Winkler is fucking dope. Like the
Yep.
entire time, I love Henry Winkler. Just him and Barry, and yeah, I think that I kind of knew what was to expect at times, but man, just like when that dude's head pops open on the like last episode of the first season or whatever it is, there's crazy shit all over it, and it's pretty violent because I mean it
Oh,
makes
it gets
sense.
more
The
violent.
whole
I think
yeah,
wait, was it the first season or the second season? There's like a crazy fight sequence that was honestly like it came out the same time as like Avengers and like something else. And honestly, that whole fight sequence, how well it was crafted and put together, was more visceral and more like
yeah.
well put together than Marvel movies and stuff. It was just
Well,
amazing.
I mean the thing with like that is right. You're working with tangible items in Barry, right? You have your actors and you have your set and you have all that stuff. Man, Avengers, you get all that stuff and you're like using your imagination for half of it.
There's
Like
too many like after effects and stuff now happening. People are like doing this to fight and stuff in Marvel movies too much, and it's not
yeah,
pew pew. You know, there's lasers and stupid shit, and I feel like when you strip it down, like Barry, it
yeah.
just it's so fucking good. Did you watch? Have you watched anything else this week?
I watched I went back and was watching more Letterkenny, so I've made
Nice.
progress in that and
No movies. You're just all on the TV show binges, eh?
I have been recently. I don't even know why. It's like what did I do? I was on Plex looking around and there was stuff I wanted to watch and a lot of that was I think sometimes it's hard to like watch horror movies when my wife's around because she's like, I don't want to watch that, with a lot of
Yeah,
that stuff.
I know that.
So, so that was kind of like where I was kind of looking at stuff, but I was like, eh. And I knew that with like the Black Phone coming out, and by the way, I was looking at tickets on Monday, and they still hadn't even posted like this, like when they were showing the movie at Alamo, and I'm like, get your shit together, Alamo, because all they were selling tickets for this weekend yesterday was Elvis, because the Elvis movie comes
Oh
out.
yeah, that's a big ticket movie though.
Yeah, man, I don't know if
I
I
wa-
said on here, but like fat Tom Hanks doesn't look right to me. I like it's like something is wrong here in this equation.
Man,
So
I've been diving into movies again. I rewatched Chappie. Fucking love that movie, man.
I've only watched about half of it and it lost me. Like I don't know, man. I love District 9.
Yes.
Elysium is not a good movie. It
No.
is just not a
What, you
good
don't like
movie.
Diane Ward? Mm, I
I I I like some of their music that, their songs that got more play and stuff like that, yeah, but they're supposed to be really shitty human beings, like, if you know anything about them, and, like,
fuck.
so, like, the dude especially just, like, every time I see him, it's like, how much meth can one
Pencil
man do?
legs.
Dude, that just he looks like he's on meth. He looks like the guys from Letterkenny that all, like, the goths who, like, do meth constantly on the show, and yet they all
Yeah.
have their teeth and perfect skin and all that stuff. Like, all the shit you wouldn't like, you break out real bad with, like, meth. You start, like, losing teeth
Right.
because 'cause you're doing, like, cleaning chemicals is like a fucking drug, right? So I feel like he looks more like what a meth dealer would look like. And every time I see that the lead dude, goth dude on Letterkenny, all I think is the dude who played, uh, like Beast in the X-Men movies, and
Yeah,
then,
yeah, yeah.
the zombie like, that zombie movie where he, like, unbecame a zombie, like, the romantic comedy, like, "If you're a zombie and you fall in love, that's the cure."
I fucking hated that movie. Well,
I never
speaking
saw it.
of drugs, I watched that new Netflix movie with, Thor and Miles
And
Teller in it,
yeah,
Spiderhead.
yeah.
It wasn't terrible, to be honest. Like, it's only got like it's got a 37% audience score and a 44% on Rotten Tomatoes. I honestly think maybe a little bit more than that. It's pretty like cliche Netflix, but
Yeah.
I
Dude,
felt like there was enough to it, and it's like that's what Netflix does. They give you that like that runtime. Well, I guess it was an hour 47, a little longer, but like I don't know. They're getting the bigger names to come in and do these like movies that will get views, and
yeah.
it almost seems just good enough for that, and it fits that shelf on at Netflix.
I mean,
Um,
dude,
it's an interesting concept.
That movie with The Rock and Ryan Reynolds and
Oh yeah,
Wonder Woman last year was this. It's like, how do you have? It's like you spent every single cent you had to make this movie on getting The Rock and Ryan Reynolds and Gal Gadot, and like the only thing that even saves that movie is Ryan Reynolds and The Rock. Like, if it wasn't
they
for
have
those two,
chemistry,
yeah,
like really really good chemistry. So,
yeah.
but it felt very empty.
It's the joke about I sat an AI down and showed him a bunch of stuff and had him write a script. That's what that movie felt like. It was like, uh, Netflix sat down an AI and, like, had a bunch
Oh yeah,
like a buddy, like, adventure movies, and this is what Netflix wrote. That's the problem with Netflix, and we talked about that before too. Like, they have that formulaic where they use the same cameras and the same lenses and the same they have the same color scales, and it's like they just announced that new, the not announced, but they were showing the new Star Killer or Star what is the game? Star Citizen, whatever the fuck the game is that the Fallout people, Elder Scrolls people are making,
okay,
and it's like it's the same thing where it's like every single one of their games has no color at all. It's just like black and grays and
right,
like,
yeah.
it's like and it's that same thing where it's like you go into a Netflix movie and you just kind of oh, I did watch a movie by the way, and now that you did remind me, we're talking about Netflix. My wife and I watched Don't Look Up, and I fucking like the movie was I think the best part about it was the bag on the head, like,
Yeah.
gag that they ran throughout it, but man, that movie, it
Again, it
it
feels empty.
it my problem with that movie is that there's, like, this sarcasm, and it's, like, that biting, like, scathing sarcasm that hits it, and I go, "This movie" you know how Idiocracy felt like the distant future? That movie felt like could happen today. Like, that movie
Yes.
seems
But
like
that was part of the like joke though.
yeah,
It was
I know,
making fun of how stupid people are today and
yeah,
that like literally the world is run by fucking morons and
by
half
Steve
the
Jobs.
population or more are just mindless drones.
I mean, it's the whole movie is like a scathing criticism of Trump and his shit, and like Apple, because like the one dude is Steve Jobs, and it's just like
I like how it ends though, because it's like, oh
oh
yeah,
no. So
it's so dumb.
my mother-in-law convinced my wife to watch it and had watched it multiple times and wouldn't shut up about how much she loved it. And then that ending
I can't
happened.
believe that got a fucking Oscar nomination. Like, what the fuck?
I I don't know. It's weird, man. It's like all the characters are such extreme like
Douchebags?
stereotypes. Yeah, and it's another one of those things that's like Jennifer Lawrence's character is the only like character you kind of like the whole time. I guess Leo you like at times, but he fucks that up real good.
Yep.
And Jennifer Lawrence's character is a fucking like plays like an asshole for half the movie, like a crazy person because no one will listen to her. And I'm like, why is the kid from Dune in here just like a weird like I don't know like like skater kid, but he's like 25 and like I don't, there's a lot. There's a lot to take in the film and like there's the acting's good, everything else, but it's just like
Well, because they're all. It's like one of those powerhouse movies where they spent all the money on the actors because they have every big name actor, and it's just so
Yeah.
they could go boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
and have like a floating head movie poster
Yeah.
where it has nothing to do with the fucking movie, just everyone that's in it. Go and see it.
It's just the thing, man, where it's like it's just like Idiocracy, where the movie felt too real. And it was like, this is I it just feels weird that they released that last year and it's like, hey, you know how you're kind of feeling shitty and down because the entire world is falling apart? Hey, here's a movie about why the movie's falling apart and you're fucked regardless of what you do and blah blah blah. And it makes me think because it's like there's been a lot of cynicism in what stuff I've been watching lately because I also watched the whole George Carlin the documentary about him.
Right.
Amazing documentary. And George Carlin was one of the fucking brightest dudes in the world, but that motherfucker by the end was the most cynical old man in the world. Like he it was a weird like it seemed like this thing where he had two sides. Like if he was with his wife and they were doing good, yeah, he was like, okay, I love her, blah blah blah. But then when he wasn't, he was just going. It was like, why is mankind so incredibly fucked, and why are we so like stupid? And just like he was basically talking about how he's like just waiting for us all to take ourselves out, right? And it's like it's that movie remind me of it, and so yeah, it was. I kind of had heard enough about it that I was like, okay, I'll be good. And nah, man, it's just movie is just a bummer. It's a bummer, Josh.
Yep.
A bummer.
But it was supposed to be. That's the part of the comedy of it, though. It's set up to be like not satisfying, and that's what makes it funny.
Yeah. There's a lot to like. All the actors are really, really good. Kate Blanchett and that was Kate Blanchett, right? Leo's awesome. Leo's never bad. Jonah Hill just made you want to punch him the whole time, like you were supposed to. Like he was playing Donald Trump Jr. basically, and just you like want to punch him the entire. But I think my favorite
I just
part was,
rewatched 21 Jump Street at my sister's house, like on
yeah,
Father's Day and stuff. I was hanging out with my nieces, and
yeah.
they hadn't seen it, and I forgot just how ridiculously funny that fucking movie is, and
I
that's
still,
Jonah
I,
Hill
t-
at like
yeah,
his best.
I still haven't watched the second one. I bought it on Blu-ray in like a 2-pack for real cheap.
It's so
Uh,
good, man. They're both
yeah.
hilarious.
I like the first one a lot. Ice Cube is fucking hysterical.
Yeah.
Um,
It's just, but that's why the second one works because it does the same thing
yeah,
again. And
yeah,
it's also self aware of itself doing it again and makes it a joke
yeah,
about itself, which only a movie like that, which also stays self aware, can get away with it because that's the whole point of it. And then they like triple up on that at the very, very end with the like end credit stuff. It's
yeah.
it's perfection, man. It's so good.
It's like Deadpool. That's why Deadpool is so good, right? Because of the
Yeah.
self-aware, whatever. Uh, I've been watching The Boys, as we are talking
Oh, I
about.
have not.
This new season is bonkers, and I mean, it
I'm
goes
2
off.
seasons behind.
Are you, dude?
Woo!
It's real good. It's real good. It's real good. Jensen Ackles is on the season. It's been good. And I've been watching Obi-Wan and Miss Marvel. But why I thought of Obi-Wan was because you were talking about, 21 Jump Street, and which has Ice Cube, and Ice Cube's son is on Obi-Wan, who is growing into his own fine actor self, and really entertaining. And Miss Marvel's been good, and I guess no one's watching it for some reason because
I am.
there's a I know. I know you are. I'm enjoying it.
I
And
think it's cute. Like the
Yeah.
amount of just art direction that show has, like in the background, and everything that they are accomplishing with just straight up in or that the effects that they do with graphics on the wall moving and like
Yeah.
cool stuff like that. It and just how grounded in a family drama the show actually is. It reminds me of like the shows we grew up with like as kids, like Family Matters and those types of shows, but with the Marvel aspect added to it. And I think if you're
Yeah.
gonna do a show, I don't know, it's like it's a Disney Plus show, so it's like it's that's essentially where all the new shows like what we grew up with live now. So if you're
Yeah.
gonna do it, you have to give it the human aspect and all the backstories to all the other characters. And her brother's awesome. I love him.
Yeah.
The guy who's madly in love with her, but they're just bros. Like there's good
Yeah.
dynamics between the characters, and there's a lot of meat that can give long lasting like storylines.
It reminds me, this is how I compare it, is like if Easy A was a Marvel movie, basically. And
Yeah.
I love the representation because like the Pakistani family and all that stuff in New Jersey is another really cool thing. And it's something that it's like Muslim families aren't super common in like, in media and like this stuff, like big media, and having a Marvel family. And it's like I saw enough like Middle Eastern people getting stoked because representation matters. I mean, we talk about that here. Representation matters. And like when you see yourself or see someone you could relate to in something like a Marvel movie, I mean, remember how big Black Panther was because of like the big tentpole superhero film for, like any like African Americans that want to be inspired, whatever. So it's cool just having representation and doing like a show by Marvel that's doing this, and this characters that can carry out into you know the new Marvel Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel movie that comes out next year, I think. So there's a lot
It
of cool
was
stuff going.
it was also weird going back and watching 21 Jump Street, and I'm like, oh wait, yeah, that's Captain Marvel. Holy shit! Like, what the hell?
Oh, is she in that? I
Yeah,
didn't
she's
remember.
in the first one. Yeah.
Okay. It's another one of those things where you don't when like a character actor or someone that's like hasn't been become giant, and then you go back and watch those movies, you're like, oh
Well,
shit.
Scott Pilgrim. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude, I haven't watched Scott Pilgrim in a while, and I need to.
Oh
I
fuck, I love that movie so much, dude.
did I have my poster right over there that I
It's one of
love.
the best posters like of 20 years. Like I love how it's done. Everything.
The version I have on my wall is better, and it's fucking amazing. It was a Mondo Tees poster, and I just
Nice.
fucking love it.
Just like
So
the whole like I I always loved Edgar Wright films, but that movie and again the art direction and
yeah.
everything that got added to that movie that just made it just a flawless victory in my eyes. Like it is so fucking well done, and you don't see graphics used that well ever in movies.
Yeah.
He knew the style to do it in to add to a joke, but to also solidify the look and feel of the movie, and it all came together. You see that type of shit used like even in the spider fucking head movie. I don't know why they chose the like clueless font in pink to
Yeah.
be the font for the movie. It didn't make sense. Like aesthetically, it did not match the movie. It was jarringly different than everything we got after that. And it
Yeah.
was a bad choice art direction wise. Whereas
Yeah.
you go to Edgar Wright just knows exactly what the fuck he's doing every time, and he just nails it.
Spiderhead is also a weird fucking title, which I think is going to lose people like real fast
Well,
too. Like
it's based on a short story about an actual place, apparently. So it's like based on like true or like kind of a real place or something. So it was
something criminal taking science experiments for like
like
for
drug use. Like
yeah.
it was like a pharmaceutical company ran by Thor, and he
Is Thor like the only Liam's Hemsworth brother, the Hemsworth brothers left? Like none of them. I don't see any of the other ones anymore. It's just him.
didn't one like get in with Miley Cyrus and stuff, and then it just went all downhill from there.
She came in like a wrecking ball. He wrecked a Hemsworth. She wrecked a Hemsworth. So yeah. Okay. We started talking about this movie. Josh, you may have to take the lead with this thing because Jesus Christ, I don't even know. I sat there
I don't think Rod liked it, and I did.
No, I did like it. I just, dude, I told you this yesterday. This movie destroyed my ADHD. It took my ADHD and it was like it took it out into a random like uninhabited island in the Pacific and then like tested nuclear weapons on it. Like that's what it
So-
did to my
But like,
ADHD.
in what way? So you couldn't pay attention? Like it was too much, and then you would lose. It would lose your attention. Is that what you're saying?
It was losing my attention over and over again because I didn't have I wasn't, for me, watching this movie was more of a me going what the fuck repeatedly, getting like not confused, but getting like I have to write something out, like put something about this in Discord or something like that. Like it was it's such a
It
like
did the opposite to me. It was so weird because usually, like if I'm watching a movie with someone, which I was, and like I'll have my antidote throughout, like little quips or oh blah blah blah, this and that, whatever. With
Yeah.
this one, because like there wasn't like, I don't know. I think if a full movie, because we don't watch a lot of like animated movies on this show.
Yeah.
I don't watch a lot of like stop motion movies ever. They're just not very widely available or made anymore, right?
Yep.
The fact that artistically this is like an 11 out of 10 because it's so interesting, and like the creature design and the set design and everything, it's like if Tim Burton actually knew how to make things look scary. Boom. It's that essentially, right? Because Tim Burton has imagination, but he also has a complete stamp that everyone knows exactly what a Tim Burton movie looks like, will look like, and it doesn't look any different. Whereas this takes that and does crack for 10 years and then like comes up with the craziest weird fucking shit. And I don't know, there was like full like long periods of time where I was so drawn in. I was just like, what? Because I'm just like, what the fuck? Like you too, but like I couldn't look away because I don't know why. I was just like mesmerized by a large portion of this movie, and it was I saw a meme yesterday right before I watched this that said, or it's the scene from Blade Runner. I've seen things people won't believe. It's like I just saw Mad God, and I've seen things people won't believe.
What I got
Attack ships on fire off the shore of Orion.
I was texting Jerry while watching this movie, as I often do when stuff he's seen, and Jerry's seen most things we watch because he's Jerry. And Jerry told me he watched this movie super high, and then was like, after he like was done, he was like, he was questioning what he remembered seeing because it's so fucking whacked out.
Well,
This
because
movie-
there's no
there's
dialogue.
no story. There's no story. I
There's
guess
a story, but there's a lot of poo.
There's a lot of poo. There's people who get boners from electricity. There's a Jeep. There's a Jeep.
I really did like the poo. There was missing fart sounds though. There's a lot of poo, but no.
Remember, Josh, that doesn't go into the audio format. So you're like, there's just be this gap of audio, and me and you going,
Oh right.
"Mm, yeah."
Well, it almost did. I almost set it up so it would today, but then it didn't. I
And
got
then
this
you're
mic
talking-
working again, so I'm just gonna. I know it's the point where the XLR fucks the mic. That's where it is. There's something. I was not gentle enough with this mic over the years. I've had it for a long time, so it makes sense. And I
Yeah.
yank by that like an asshole. Like a fucking asshole.
Don't always have to fuck her hard. In fact, sometimes that's not right to do. You're just not being gentle enough with your mic, Josh. And
Or the fart button. Oh no, I hit a different button.
Josh, you weirdo. I love you, you weirdo.
My ADD from this movie. No, actually,
Dude,
don't
okay,
know.
I have to say it before I forget to say it. This
Yes, do it.
movie is what would happen if you took a Tool
Yes.
music video from their first album and just made it 80 minutes long. And then like Tool was like, "Oh, we don't have an 80-minute long song. Okay, you just release your music video as like as this
There was some
giant,
cool music in this too, though. Like it did.
the
But-
sound design, the fucking visuals, everything about this movie from like a technical standard is like fucking wonderful. And it was, I made the mistake of starting this movie up, and I was like, oh, I got to go make some dinner, and I heated up some spaghetti, and then I got to the autopsy scene, and I'm like, okay, I got to put YouTube on for a couple minutes because they're like, there's an autopsy scene at some point, and
There's
and
a lot
then-
of like this movie spends a lot of time drawing out disgusting scenes to get a rise out of you in that sense, where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is kind of gross, and then it does the like Family Guy length of
yeah.
to
Like
make
the
sure you're grossed out. Just
Yeah,
wait.
the autopsy scene is like
Yeah.
the best example of that. But they also like it's very got like elements of things like those weird late 90s or like mid to late 90s like Nickelodeon type shows, or like you like or the late like Adult Swim stuff from Cartoon Network, where it's like you start integrating humans with like stop motion, and then like
Yes.
the one guy looks like a villain from Mystery Science Theater 3000. Like there's like two actors in the whole thing. Like there's like a male actor, and then there's like a female actor, and who, by the way, I think is my like most memorable scene in all this, with the weird penis, hairy penis baby that with like she's like I can't even tell you that I watched this movie without like telling you I watched this movie, but not watching because it's so dude. Artistically, this movie is wonderful. It just probably wasn't for me with losing like I need like dialogue isn't a necessity for me, right? Like I prefer.
Are you
movies
sure?
to have dialogue.
Are you sure?
I mean, think about it. Like Willy's Wonderland, Nicolas Cage didn't have any dialogue. It was fine. But there are
But
other
there are
characters-
other people. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But-
I don't know, man.
It wouldn't have worked with this. Like aesthetically, especially like the only, I could see maybe two scenes where they could have put audio and it would have potentially worked. But like as a whole, it would have stood out like a sore thumb, and it wouldn't have worked.
The audio isn't though. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying what I need is some kind of thing that I'm following that is like
Oh yeah.
driving this whole. It's
Yeah, you don't
it-
know the why. Because they don't really explain the why.
It really comes off as a bunch of scenes of like like the dude with the fucking he like makes the Necronomicon, but like but instead of like an evil book to Satan, it's a map, and it's like looks like something Leatherface put together, and
Every time he
is
takes it out, it
falling
just
around.
falls apart.
Yeah, and it's just like I'm like, okay, because that isn't fucked up. And then the guy in the gas mask, I thought he was dead, and then the guy was still running on as the gas mask. I was like, and you talk about there's like a turd factory, and then like two kaiju fight. And are you about to sneeze? What are you doing over there, Josh?
What? I think
You're,
my
you're,
computer was just kind of freezing.
oh, okay. Well, I hope you don't lose the episode because this gold, Josh, this gold.
No,
Uh,
we're fine, Rod.
no,
We're fine.
I Josh, I was say this movie. a- Okay, this was all made by what's his name? His name was Phil Tippett, who
Yep.
was a special effects guy in Hollywood or has been a special effects guy in Hollywood for a long time. Like it says, he started making this like at home basically while working on RoboCop 2. RoboCop, if you don't, I don't know how much I remember RoboCop 2, but it had the RoboCop 1 had a lot of stop motion in it. And this movie is a majority of it is shot as stop motion. Um,
Well, the synopsis of this movie is: a corroded diving bell descends amidst a ruined city, and the assassin emerges from it to explore a labyrinth of bizarre landscapes inhabited by freakish denizens? What the fuck is denizen? Den,
I don't know.
what the fuck is
I
that?
I don't know, Josh. I don't know. I
It felt
well, how,
like it took 30 years to accomplish. Just the sheer amount of layering that this has is
yeah,
so mind-blowing.
yeah,
You think you've seen something weird, and then as soon as the weird thing walks out of frame and it puts into focus what was behind it the entire time, it's even more weird, and then it goes through it, and you didn't even realize that there was 8 more layers of fucked up weird behind that too, and it just like it it's so intricate and weird. There's no real other way to fucking put it. And you think you've seen the weirdest parts, and then all of a sudden there's a row of people getting electrocuted and shitting into buckets that is funneling into someone's mouth. And you're like, wait a second. That's pretty weird.
or you put a hairy dick baby into a like a juicing machine, and then take the juice, which turns into something that looks like crystal meth from Breaking Bad,
No,
and
but
then
first they gotta like it's like a yeah, it's like molten metal, and then they form it into a brick, and then make it into shiny
meth looks like
meth.
meth. But then the meth gets like blown into the like I don't know, a
The
supernova.
Twitter sphere.
Yeah, something. And uh then skyscrapers start being it's just you
That
got
whole end, and then it fades to
yeah,
black for like an uncomfortable amount of time, and then just comes back, and then it's over. And I'm like,
yeah. It is truly one of the
it's
oddest
truly
films.
art.
Yeah, this is the most art movie I've ever seen, like the most art house movie. And I see on Wikipedia here, it says that it made $8,416 from its two theaters its opening weekend. Uh,
Nice.
so that's the most art house total. But man, I like so some Jerry yeah, no, my buddy Dr. Claw, he was telling me that he was the one who suggested I watch this, who I was going to bring it up to you before you brought it up to me. Um, that
we're
this
both
dude
on
basically,
we're both on the same page, and we have our ear to the ground of like, what is new and what we should as a horror show know exists, essentially.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the guy had like a mental breakdown like towards the end of making it because it was such a like stress on him. Like I mean, it took him 30 years with like a 10-year or 20-year break. making this, and then it turned into a whole like thing. He had like a Kickstarter, and yeah, and just it
Well,
sounds like
there's
a
Mad God Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3 shorts that came out in 2014, 2015, and 2018.
yeah. They have a behind the scenes footage on YouTube, which I'm actually really interested in. When I get
Oh,
a
nice.
chance, I'm gonna probably check it out because it. There's so much I would like to know about this film, like the scales, like how big were these scales of this thing that this guy was doing? Because the amount of detail and the amount of like they had to have been huge, like because it talks about his basement, but like the amount of like things that are being stop motioned is just crazy. And it's like how you're just like click, 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 click. I mean, you know how many pictures in an 80 something minute like movie at what 28 frames per second? So you're basically 28 frames for every second, and then you times that by or 24 frames, whatever it is. Is it 24, Josh, or is it
Yes, 24
28?
for films.
It's 24. Yeah. You're like, damn, man. But I mean, this guy worked on so much stuff. Like, I mean, he worked on Jurassic Park. He worked on like,
Mastodon videos.
I mean, should have been working on Tool music videos with like that stuff. But Jesus Christ, man, like, yeah, it's. I mean, this guy though. Look at this. He won best. He's won how many Academy Awards? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven Academy Awards for visual effects from Starship Troopers, Dragonheart, Jurassic Park, Willow,
Dragonheart. Oh my god.
that shitbox movie, RoboCop, Dinosaur, which I don't know what it is. Oh, that must be a TV. He worked on Return of the Jedi. I mean, this dude worked on, and then something Dragon Slayer. I don't know that one. Old like fantasy movie from 82 or 81. But yeah, I mean, this dude was like,
He's got a resume.
yeah, I mean, and it just, this was from what everything I gather out of this was completely a passion project. This was like, this guy wanted to make this and he put so much effort into it and so much time. I mean, it makes sense.
And so
Like,
much dick and balls.
the only dick and balls in this is when the guy that did two
I'm
kaiju
just
was fighting.
kidding. I'm just
And
kidding.
dude,
There was a
why
lot of poo though. There was a lot of poo though.
Why did the one kaiju like poke out the other kaiju's eye? Like that wasn't called for. Like I thought they were like cool after getting electrocuted. Like they got electrocuted and I thought, oh, they're like bros now because like the man got him or something like that. You know, the man like was like, you can't do this shit. I don't know. And then the one got electrocuted and he got a raging erection, and so that was all that really mattered, Josh. So it was.
that's the first. Okay, I just want to let you know what Clown Dick does as soon as we get on a call. He talks about that scene to me. I'm just glad that there was a scene where those two things got electrocuted and then there was an erect penis. I'm like, you would, Clown Dick.
It wasn't a clown dick though. It was just a regular like kaiju.
No, your Clown Dick. That was a regular dick. Your Clown Dick, though. Remember?
That wasn't a regular dick. That did not look like. No, Josh, it didn't look like a regular dick. It didn't. Josh, I want to say, from a guy who did special effects, you know.
Oh, there's Clown Dick.
For a guy who did all this, I have to ask you.
Sorry.
How did you feel he did shooting this movie, like from like a cinematography kind of like perspective?
That's why he lost his mind and took 10 years off.
What do you mean?
Because it's so much fucking work.
Yeah.
And it would just, especially something of this scale, magnitude, and just pure craziness coming from like the darkest depths of his mind to come up with these like character designs and everything like that. The amount of time it takes, and because it was all himself, if he had maybe someone help, how are you going to get someone to help for long enough to accomplish anything long
Yeah.
enough to keep you sane. It's just not going to happen. So like he lost his mind completely and then had to come back to it and then almost lost his mind again and it was finally over. So he will never do anything like this again. So enjoy it, people, because this is a once in a lifetime thing
Can
because he will die and not probably do anything like this again.
can you imagine having these ginormous like scenes of like chaos that this movie has, and having to like move every single thing like just a tiny millimeter,
No,
and
you
then
and I have
take
ADD. We would die after 2 days of doing that. And he did it for 30 fucking years.
I would die before lunch. I wouldn't make it to lunch on the first day. I'd be like, "You want me to move that a little? Okay." And then take it, but nothing
See, I like
changed.
the process of like normal short film making or just filmmaking, regardless. Like that's fun because there's so many different things. Like especially because
Yeah.
well, that's what I like about the smaller productions right now because I haven't made anything bigger or whatever. But like I like to do different things. So like directing and being behind the camera and also in the editing bay after because it's like a full vision and I get to
Yeah.
make sure that my stamp and direction and art direction and like my love for movies and everything I've learned over the years is coming out the way I believe from the amount I've learned that I can showcase type thing. Whereas
Yeah.
even just allowing, I don't know, I guess also I'm not like close friends with other filmmakers where I would be like, I love everything you've done and trust you to do this for one of my projects. I don't have that because I haven't like collaborated enough in it,
Yeah.
right? So everyone kind of just like relied on me. So I just continued to do it all.
I mean, it's also like you're talking about the difference between making a 12-minute short and a like 90-minute like big
Yes.
thing, and then this is like you're doing 80 something minutes of like what would you say, like 10 minutes of it is live action at most? Like it's a portion, but it's not a huge portion of it. And so you're like you take 70 minutes ish of like all you're doing is moving little puppet things of whatever and then taking picture after picture after it's like the process is it's a like the really amazing results. Like, hey, you go back to the, the 30s, 40s, 50s when you have like the monsters and the stop motion like of T-Rexes and shit like that. But
Yeah.
like all that stuff like all felt like, I mean, it's just like you can feel the love that went into it. And this is that this whole film, like it's weird how I'm talking about this film, but I think people should watch it. And I think that like me being a broken ADHD motherfucker shouldn't like if I think this movie is something like most people that love horror can get into and watch and go, "Oh, this is cool." But maybe not most, but a lot. Like this is I think by far the weirdest movie we've ever watched, and I don't even think it's actually close. I think this is just like this is an oddity in filmmaking, and if you can't like completely like dive in, you might struggle like I did to get through it. Like even as I sit here and appreciate it and appreciate the work of
Right.
art it is, and it's just like it. This is not art films are very often like that it's that pretentious like like the being accused of being like super like pretentious, right? It's like that South Park where they like
This is totally not pretentious.
I know I'm talking about art films like having that
Yes.
thing that like what they're
Right, right,
known
right.
for, right? And like it's
Yep.
being pretentious. This film isn't like that. This
Well,
film is just like
I think the films that you're talking about, that's where like someone fucking films like a shopping bag floating in the air and makes you watch it 14 minutes and then calls it fucking art. And it's just like, no, you don't know what you're doing, and you're trying to force stupidity down our throats. Fuck off.
yeah. I that also, but like this is just I mean, it's a passion project. This guy wanted to do something
Yes.
cool and did and put I can't even like putting
But
30 years of your life into something.
he's a master, though. You can see it through and through on this, even though there is, you know, it's not it's a full meal of crazy, and because it's doesn't have like much of a narrative, it's really hard. I could see how Rod had a hard time like digesting it or paying attention to it, because if you look away, you will miss something that you won't see again in the movie. Or maybe those poo like people that are walking around, they're kind of all over the place. But there's just layers and layers and layers of fucked that you will miss, because it's so fucked.
I kept trying to figure out what like the guy who had like a bunch of balls hanging off of his face was like doing, and I think maybe he was God. I'm not completely sure what was happening. We have Mad God as the title. There's like,
Right.
was Testicle Face God? Was he the Mad God? And everything else was like this weird, like, how does this stuff added up, and like how the hairy dick baby get to God so that God could like juice it and make skyscrapers. I like
juice it. What the fuck?
It got juiced at the end. They put the hairy dick baby in the juice press, and then the goo came out, and then the goo turned into the crystal meth, and the crystal meth turned into a skyscraper.
Right.
I mean, that's what happened. I think. And then there was the lady in that was holding the dick baby. Very dick baby.
That really made me uncomfortable with, they did that on purpose. It was supposed to, but like the baby sounds and the baby crying over top of all this like just disturbing shit, and it coming out of like what it was. It was just like a weird black, like,
it was a hairy dick
eel.
baby with,
hairy dick baby. But it was like a black hairy eel with a mouth in the middle that was ugly as hell, but it sounded like a normal baby crying.
Wasn't the mouth like at the end? It was like where your pee hole would be.
Clown Dick is back again.
I don't know what I'm saying is completely accurate to this batshit insane movie, Josh. What are you doing? Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
I love that our show has turned into a morning radio show.
It's a morning radio show where I say fuck way more than anything besides like Howard Stern probably.
And God damn it, Josh.
God, I have to say, God damn it, Josh. You push those buttons, and I don't mean my buttons, but my button too. But yeah,
yeah, I know I push your button.
I know you do. I just find the whole like that this thing must be getting attention for being as weird it is, because my friend, like I told you, my friend who told me about this was the guy who used to work at Collider. So he like watched a lot of media and a lot of like, he did a lot of video game stuff for them. But
okay,
I'm like, this movie is, I was like, I still don't know what you made me watch, dude. And he said he demanded our royalties. And I was like, you could have all of our no royalties that we make on the show.
Yeah, we don't make royalties. What? People
we
make money doing podcasts? I love all those podcast memes with that, like, the guy that looks like when PewDiePie had a beard.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, I'll use it on my podcast. It makes me like love being on a podcast even more, because they're just become like the douchiest. You're like a douche if you have a fucking podcast now.
Yeah.
And I'm embracing it.
Dude, it was there was a meme about that the other day. I saw that, and it was like this like musician like over his guitar or something like that, and he's like, nobody's gonna like what I said. Like, and he's like, actually,
yeah.
And then the next part is like two guys, and they're like on a podcast, and all they're doing is describing like their trip to like Sam's Club or some shit like that. Like, it's like, and then dude, this guy cut me off.
Well,
I
that's what
mean,
we do. We just talk about clown dicks. So there's
no, you
maybe
just
there's
talk
something.
about clown
I
dicks.
just think there's might be something to it. Okay, Rod. I think
I
we're.
I still want more explanation on what you think is going to come out of the clown dick phenomenon.
You'll get a clown dick tattooed on you one day.
No, no, I won't, Josh. No, no, I won't. Okay, when we get 1 million downloads for Murder Moose, I'll get a clown dick tattoo.
We
So
will.
that will only take like another 998,000 downloads or so. So like when I'm like 49 years old, so in like 11 years, we'll
No, it's gonna be way faster than that. Way faster than that. You will
man, I
get.
don't want to. No, Josh, I don't want a clown dick tattoo.
Well, it's out into the universe now that if you guys do it, he will get a clown dick tattoo. So you guys got to help us out. You heard it here first. You get us to 1 million. He's getting a clown dick tattoo. So fucking do it. Okay, guys? This is our new marketing technique, by the way. Get Rod a clown dick tattoo. Get us to 1 million.
I believe I can fly. Spread my wings and touch the sky. Oh man.
It's gonna happen now, man. It's just inevitable that it's going to happen. You're gonna get a clown dick tattoo, and I want to be there for it.
I don't know if I can handle any more of these things happening today. After today, someone decided that I have to cosplay as slave Princess Leia on my stream in the near future. So I don't even know how I could get away with
Yeah,
that.
but you just do that on a normal Thursday night. So shut up, man. Like it's time for clown dick tattoos.
What would a clown dick tattoo be, Josh? Is my next question.
It would be a dick that looks like a clown.
Like I described last week?
Yeah, exactly. And you have to have the seltzer water or whatever you said.
That's how you come. A clown dick comes.
Yeah, so there's got to be like a bucket of seltzer water and like up.
Josh, I don't know why you commit to the things that you do, but you do. I love you. I love you. Josh, I have to say, like, I feel like this as like SRU must be like a pretty inspiring thing though, to see someone who loves his craft so much that he put all this time into doing it. Like, right? That's gotta be like an inspiration.
It's very commendable. I don't know if it's inspiring because 30 years, my God.
So you're saying this this clown dick should have not taken 30 years?
No, not at all. I'm saying like, no, you know what? Yeah, it's very inspiring to be honest. Like if you, yeah, no, it totally is. Like I not in this medium for me, but a movie in general to have like an idea. Like I've had an idea for a short film for a long, long time. I will make it one day because it's the only thing. I don't know why. It's literally getting in the way of me having other ideas because I need to make this film in order to get it behind me and just keep moving forward. But I feel like it's good enough that it will be something for me type thing, right?
Maybe it's your signs, like not signs. Maybe it's your sixth sense, Josh. Like it's that thing that you need to get out into the universe, and then you can make a bunch of other mediocre movies for in like millions of dollars.
Hey,
Someday, if you make this short film, Josh, someday you can do your own version of Old. No, nobody.
hey, I didn't mind that movie, man. I did not mind it. I don't know why all his movies get shit on so bad.
Because they're all really terrible.
Did you see it?
No, I haven't. I just heard it was real bad. I heard the
Watch it. It's not that bad.
Ah, man. I have so much TV to watch, Josh. As we talk
Stop
about,
watching TV. We're a movie show.
I gotta get through Letterkenny. I watch my movies that we talk about here. We're gonna watch Black Phone this weekend. We have like we knew coming into the podcast what we were doing for next week, Josh. We're like,
Yeah, but
super,
I'm at fucking Calgary HorrorCon all weekend.
I know, and I didn't get to come because Josh didn't answer his phone. If he would have
Yeah,
answered,
blame it on me. You should have just pulled the trigger. You know I would have fucking picked you up from the airport. If that's the whole thing that was holding you back, eat a
No,
dick.
I just wanted to make sure it was okay with you, Josh. I don't like.
Of course it's okay. I told you to come, dude.
Josh is yelling at me now. No, I'm gonna sleep bad, baby. Yeah.
It's a HorrorCon, and you suggested it. I was like, "What? You'll come up? Do it." I was excited. I'm not mad.
I've never
I'm disappointed.
been.
Rod, I'm not mad at you. I'm just disappointed.
That's way worse. Way worse. I've never been to a HorrorCon. I've only been to one con really ever. So like that was BlizzCon, but yeah,
It's a good
so.
one. It's one of the Dan, the guy who created it, puts it on every year. His like list of people that he has and the ability to get like the celebs, and like if someone backs out last minute because that happens, the way he's like, boom, I got this person to fill in like last fucking minute. I'm like, you're crazy. How do you do this? And it's one guy. He's insane, and I love everything he's doing. I'm happy that I have the time too. I'm going to be helping out with a whole bunch of different things this year. I'm not doing a panel, which is a little unfortunate. I was looking forward to that, but all the panels got snatched up too quick, and I thought I wasn't going to be available, so it kind of just worked out the way it did regardless.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be helping with some photography stuff, maybe some videography, and some audio for the VIP show the day before, where all the celebs are going to be at one place, and live music and stuff.
What band is at the party? You were talking about a band.
I have no clue. Just some band that is playing. I think I might actually have to bring my like drum mics and stuff. So I'm like, I'm literally doing the audio for the band. So
Josh is a cool kid.
I dabble in everything. Put it in front of me. Yeah, I can do that. Cool.
That's why Josh has done everything he has, because he has extensive. I can't talk. Why is English so hard? It's been a long day.
You know why? I just say yes. That's another intention as well. It's like you say yes to stuff, you have a better day. I don't like saying no, because I have the ability, but especially with like this type of stuff, only comes around once a year. I want to help. He asked for my help in a whole bunch of different areas, and I said, of course. Like I just said, how can I help? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. I just rewatched Freddy Got Fingered as well.
I've never seen that one either.
Yes, I can.
I don't know why. I don't know if I told. I don't think I told you this last week when we talked about Idle Hands. I think I had some weird mental connection between Freddy Got Fingered and Idle Hands, and I don't know why, but I think probably because they came out right around the same time, didn't they? I swear they did.
No, I have no clue. I loved it. It was one of those movies. It was so terrible, but it's fucking hilarious because it just does not give a shit, and it is unapologetically exactly what it is. And it is not anyone's humor, but I find it so fucking funny because it's so stupid.
Oh, it came out in 2001, so a couple years after Idle Hands. Tom, what's his name? Green is a weird motherfucker, man. Like I remember him being on
yeah, but he's Canadian. That's why.
No, he had a whole album song that my bum is on the chair. My bum is like, and it got to like #1 on TRL Live, if you remember that.
Of course.
So if you're not old like Josh and I, there used to be like music videos on TV.
Oh my
they
god!
Had a daily show where you could vote on what song you wanted or some shit like that. Yeah. So,
but that's where like movies like Idle Hands and all the movies that came out around that time, all like we were talking about on that show. Go and listen to it now. We just did a fucking show on Idle Hands and fucking what's his name? Fuck. Why am I just
Devin
spacing?
Sawa?
Devin Sawa retweeted and replied fucking Seth Green about my poster, and I was like, "Yay!" That was just like again, it was attached, and in that tweet was a link to Murder Moose. So anytime it can get that much engagement and in front of that many eyes, it's all what I'm trying to do. Get this show out there. Get these posters out there. Get people to see Rod's beautiful clown dick, and make sure we get him that clown dick tattoo. Come on, it's a it's a mission now.
I mean, the powers of the universe, Josh. You are putting it out there. You are.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes things take a while. Look at the Kate Bush and Running Up the Hill, Josh. Now that song is everywhere, and it was made in the 40 years ago.
What I totally ADD'd out. The bands around that time were showcased in movies, and that's why they were popular. It was in pop culture. TRL was a thing, and they brought in the bands that were in the movies, Offspring and Limp Bizkit and blah blah blah. And that's where like pop punk and then new metal were on top of the charts. And now it's just all the same shit because there isn't that model doesn't exist anymore. Everyone can get their entertainment wherever they want, on whatever device they want, at whatever fucking time they want, and there's no schedule and there's no mass. The mass is where advertisers spend the most money to fucking keep you on TikTok or something, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it is it's why like everything like you say on television now, like what used to be really, 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 really big numbers back in the day, like say when you were like even like back in the 90s, is like it gets like 25% of it, and it's still really good now because there's so many more options. Really, like when WWE, like Raw, it was WWF before the panda came and hit him with the steel chair. Back then, they would like get 25 million like views on like an episode of Raw or something insane like that, and like it would probably wasn't that much, but like now it's like 1 million because of like there's like TV and like there's like internet and all these stuff and streaming and all this shit, and it's like there's so many more options now, and there's so many more channels and all this shit, and like.
But because that was the only thing to watch, their base audience is loyal to a T because that many people watched it back in the day, and they're still watching it, and now their kids are watching it. Yeah, it's crazy.
But there's a lot of options, man, and a lot of stuff is the world is way different, and and that's why like I do wonder how many views and people are gonna see Mad God, because like I was telling people in my Discord about it while I was watching it. Another reason I kept getting distracted because I was like trying to describe this, like what my brain is trying to make sense of. And I'm like, and people get interested, but then it's like, then you tell them there's no plot really. And then like that there's no like dialogue, and you start dropping people, and then you tell them it's stop motion and you drop more people. Like there's a lot in this that isn't like, this is not, you were talking about that Spiderhead movie, and Netflix is all made to like be accessible to most people, or like it has that feeling at least. It's like Michael Bay kind of like it's like anyone could watch this. By the way, I started watching Ambulance, and speaking of Michael Bay and that movie, I started going, this is a movie where all the main characters are despicable motherfuckers, and I'm like, how are we supposed to, like that happens with crime movies all the time, but it's a side distraction. But
I don't know. That was the movie that I saw in theaters, and then we got evacuated because of a fire alarm, and then let back in type thing. And I saw it, and I thought, like, did you get past the bank heist part?
Yeah, I got to like when they were in the ambulance, like
okay. So away. Like, does it just fast forward through the bank heist?
No, they do the bank heist.
Okay, well then I gotta rewatch it because it literally glitched out in the theater and like fast forwarded through the whole fucking bank heist, and all of a sudden they're not.
No, there was a bank heist, and it goes very, very badly for them.
fucking hell. Like
Yeah.
I still ended up enjoying that movie because Michael Bay did Michael Bay shit and hired like a kid that did like crazy fast drone flying and like put cameras in weird places that you wouldn't expect it to happen when it happens type thing. And it was so Michael Bay to do that. And
Yeah.
I hated it at first. And then by the end of the movie, I was like, I appreciate that you went full bore with it the entire time. So
Yeah.
kudos, Michael Bay.
Yeah.
You didn't make a shitty fucking Transformers movie.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. It's kind of amazing. That was a remake of a like Finnish movie or something like from 2007, which is another thing. But yeah, the point was that like where all those things are made for like the largest target audience possible. I really do appreciate that this movie it wasn't. This is not this this is the most anti-capitalistic movie I think I've ever seen. And like that this movie wasn't made because of profit. This was made for the love of something and something this guy wanted to do, which is fucking incredible.
Exactly.
I struggled to get through it a lot because that's my own like I do often I'll pause a movie even when it's 80, 90 minutes that we like watch every I'll pause it 5 to 10 times to go
Right.
wander off. And this movie, like, it doesn't have anything that connects to you. Like it doesn't have anything that you're like, oh, I'm waiting for this character to do this, or this character to do this, or I'm waiting for this. Like we're talking about, it was the bank robbery scene and that ambulance. This movie doesn't have any of that, and is going to make this movie not hit for everyone. But man, I respect the ever living shit out of what this guy did, and it's incredible to look at. It's got awesome visuals. It's gross as shit at times, but like
It
it's such a
literally
cool
is.
thing.
Like I
Yeah.
can't believe its ability in stop motion to
Yeah.
legitimately gross me out. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't get grossed out. I don't get like horrified. I don't get and this one I was like, "Oh shit."
Well,
Like,
the sound design in
wow.
this movie is fucking
Yeah.
awesome too. The sound design has a lot to do with that because, like, I was talking about the like autopsy and the spaghetti scene, and like the sound is really what you're getting that real gross, like you're in body organs and
Squishy,
pulling,
yeah.
yeah, squishy things, and it's just like really, really well done, and it's just like,
Sound
and
design.
it's a juicy fart, man. It's the juiciest fart around. So, yeah, this movie is nuts, and I really, I mean, do you agree that like this movie isn't going to be like for a lot of people? But
No,
I
I
think
don't think it's gonna be for a lot of people, yeah.
I think you should try to watch it, and I think you should like try to enjoy it, and like I you could tell when Josh and I don't even care about spoilers because there's nothing to really truly spoil for this. This is not a like a
I don't think
narrative
we
that
could have remembered half of the shit that we actually saw
I
anyways. Like there
yeah,
you can't like go through it and remember unless you were like jotting down notes the entire time. That was
yeah.
fucked up. And then you just write a random and then you like read what you just wrote and saw and go, "Wait a second. That's really messed up."
Yeah, it's just like things that like stick out to your brain afterwards because that's yeah, and like the beginning and the end, and then it's just all like also the dude the monkey sounds that they use at points also reminded like they're trying to do like 2001 a space odyssey or
Yes,
something like that, or
100%.
like something like that. There's just it's this is one of the most like I wouldn't be surprised if this wins something at Academy Awards kind of like films like, but like
You
I don't
think?
think it will. I
It's
I
too
think that
messed up, I think. It won't like hit the palate of anyone on that board.
but they love when you just do crazy artsy things, right? So I don't know, maybe.
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I would be very interested if it did, for sure.
Yeah, I would be too. I don't think it will. That now that I think about it, but like I think that this is something that's like a filmmaker's film. So okay, Josh. Is there anything else you want to talk about like with this movie before we like wander off and like we do next week we do Black Phone.
Come to Calgary.
I'll look again tomorrow or tonight.
Do it. Do
Okay.
it.
I'll try, dude. If I find something for under $500, I will go for sure. But like here,
And we
I'm gonna
will
refresh.
we'll record 2 shows while you're here. So we have in the bank 2 weeks of in-person podcast because we'll go and see Black Phone together, and then we can watch. It's on a thing that starts with a P, but that Crimes of the Future is on there now. So
Oh, nice. I need to see that movie. Did you see Jerry won that ear thing from it?
yeah, it. I attempted to go and see it in theaters, and was in the theater, just sat down with my popcorn, and then my sister was like, "Ah, can you come over? Like, there's an emergency." And I was like, "Okay," and I went and helped my like family out. I was like, "Oh crap!"
Oh, damn. Yeah, it was only it was the weekend I went and saw Top Gun, and the next weekend it was Alamo didn't have it already. It was like out of theaters that quickly. So yeah, it
Oh
made
yeah, like well, you know,
money.
we're here with it. We have an opportunity and a place
Yeah.
to watch it. Also, Watcher is on as well. You should check
Oh my
that one out. That was the one that
Oh,
I
is
did
that the
the
one you were
poster for,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then the director loved it. I was like, "What?
Yeah.
Huh?" That one is like, there's like, again, Watcher is tense the entire time. It just understands how to do tense, edge of your
Yeah.
seat filmmaking with absolutely nothing actually happening. It is so well done. I love it.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Black Phone next week, unless I go to Calgary, and then maybe still Black Phone. I don't know.
It's probably going to be Black
Um,
Phone regardless, but come to Calgary and we'll do like a Murder Moose vlog.
Okay. Well, we are murdermoose.com. We are Murder Moose Podcast or Pod on Twitter. We are, yeah, we have an Instagram that I don't put enough. I tried to give it to Josh and he doesn't take it. we, we have
No,
our YouTube where our videos are going, obviously. Now, if you're watching that, you know that. I'm Rod_Johnston on Twitter and Twitch. And Josh is Josh WRB on Twitter and Twitch. So come follow us there too. So I think that's all, Josh.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, buddy. I love your face, you beautiful Canadian motherfucker. We'll catch you guys next week. We love you all, and we'll have a good one. And
Bye.